Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Know Your Shit podcast, where our knowledge and pride drives us to be excellent, to help entrepreneurs along their way, along their journey, to pursue the excellence that makes for a life well lived. We're going to do this by stop chasing paychecks and start building a business we can be proud of. And we learn to do that by talking to some of the most successful people in business and in all sorts of areas to see how they achieve success. We have a great show for you because we have a great guest, Mr. Devrinn Paul. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for inviting me, first of all, and thank you for having me on. I've listened to a few episodes now, and it's a privilege to be able to just share the format with you.
I do appreciate that. Why don't you tell everybody what it is you do, Devrinn?
So I am a college basketball coach. I've been a head coach at my school that I'm currently at, Rose-Hulman Institute of Technology, which is a STEM-related school, top engineering school in the country. Been here for 3 seasons. Before this, I was an assistant coach at University of Cincinnati. So coaching is in my blood, man. Something I've been doing since I was 17 years old. So I love doing it.
Good stuff. What got you started down the coaching road?
I started out as a student manager. I played basketball and football in high school. I was more of a naturally talented football player, but I realized that my size and doing the capabilities that I had, I felt like, hey, I got to be realistic with myself. So my uncle
Yeah.
was a college basketball coach, and he kind of talked me into it. And he said, hey man, you should come be a student manager. So I took him up on that offer, and that was my first opportunity to kind of learn the behind the scenes of coaching. So I started out cleaning floors, washing backboards, doing all of the stuff that nobody else wanted to do. Quickly excelled at that and just kept moving up in the ranks. I became a graduate assistant coach where I switched over to women's basketball from men's basketball. Did that for 2 years at the University of Louisville with that coaching staff. Also got promoted to a video coordinator while I was there. So I was there at University of Louisville for a total of 5 years, 5 seasons, and we went to 2 national championships while I was there, 4 Sweet 16s, just a ton of success while I was there. Great ride, great coaching staff. And then I became an assistant coach at Marshall University in Huntington, West Virginia. So I did that for 3 seasons, really got my feet wet with recruiting and learning how to get players to actually commit to a school and how to get them to come there and be ready to play. And then I stepped away from coaching for about 6 years. I had met she was my girlfriend at the time, my wife now, and we was dating long distance for about 2 years, and then it got serious. And I said, hey, we got to be together. So I picked up and moved to New York. And we started a basketball training business in New York, and we did that for 6 years. I also was a teacher at a high school in Queens, New York. So I did that as well as train basketball players. And then just felt the urge again to get back into coaching. And one of my friends, actually a mentor of mine, reached out and asked me to join her staff at University of Cincinnati. And that's how I got back in.
So I got to ask this. What do you like best about it?
I think the best thing about coaching is being able to take something as far as a team or a program and transform it into something that starts out as just a vision that you can see, but everybody around you may not be able to see that vision. Even if it's an individual player, you can see more talent inside of a player than they can see in themselves. And being able to take that vision, articulate it to the team, and also get everybody pushing forward with one vision. I think that that's probably the thing that really keeps me going every single season, and understanding that every team is different. Even when you're building a program, you may bring back, like this year, we brought back 13 out of our 15 players, and it's still going to be a different team. It's not going to be the same team, no matter how many of the same players that you bring back. So I think that that's the thrill that you get from doing it, or at least that I get. And that's what keeps me motivated every single day.
I hear that, man. So I I've been exposed to so much of the stuff that's out there in the universe, and it's always the good side, the happy side, the sunny side. And whenever you're in business, whenever you're trying to run anything, a team, a company, whatever, there's the bad. What's the toughest part of what you do for you? What's the part that you don't necessarily look forward to?
That's actually a great question, and I mean you're really peeling the onion back on this one. But I think the top thing, and it's kind of a misconception when it comes to coaching in sports in general. I probably do about 15% of actual basketball coaching, especially as a head coach. I mean, you're working on all of the administrative stuff, and that's the stuff that I really don't want to do. I really don't look forward to. I'm working on my scheduling, but those things have a huge impact.
Yep.
So you have to take time out to do those things, but they're just not things that I look forward to doing.
Yep.
And there's always tough times. Like I remember at Marshall University, which was my first like official assistant coaching job, and we had a meeting as a coaching staff, and we went over like what we were going to do on the court and who was in charge of everything and task and responsibilities from a business standpoint. And we got out to practice, and I don't know what happened, but my mind went blank, and I forgot every single drill that I ever learned. And
Gotcha.
and that was a moment where I asked myself, like, is this really what I want to do? Am I really
Yeah.
called to do this? So I think we all have those moments where we kind of go back and forth. But that's when I lean in on my mentors, and my coaches that coach me as well. And I think that every coach should have a coach. I don't think that you should be out here leading other people if no one can tell you or give you advice or mentor you in areas where you can develop and where you can grow. So I think that that's something that helps a lot.
Sure. And it's true. I mean, we all need guidance at times. We all need somebody, maybe that additional perspective that we don't have ourselves, that's outside of ourselves, because otherwise we just get locked in the echo chamber of our own mind. That makes a lot of sense. Um, One of the questions that I have, you're always looking at people as a coach, I would imagine, and seeing what's in their makeup. Like, what can I take based upon what I see in front of me? How can I make the most out of it? When you turn that coach's gaze on yourself, what would you say in your makeup makes you good at this role that you've chosen for yourself?
I mean, I think there are a lot of things that separate coaches from other coaches, obviously. But I think there's something that separates me is where I started at. Being able to be in every position is something that I value. I've been the person that was cleaning uniforms, behind the scenes, setting up the gym, doing things from a facility standpoint. I've been the person that's went out and recruited the players. I've been the person that's done the booking for the buses and the airports and travel arrangements, all of those type of things. So I think for me, it would be being able to be versatile. And I think, and that's the type of players that I recruit. A lot of players ask, what position do you see me in, coach? And I say, I see you as a playmaker. That's what I do. I recruit players and I let them make plays. So
Hmm.
that's kind of how I view myself as well. I'm not a in the box type of coach. I'm going to do whatever it takes for the team to be better and for us to be prosperous. So those are things that I feel like definitely separate me. And I'm rooted and I'm grounded in the Word of God. So I do believe that Jesus is the way, and inviting that into my coaching philosophy, I think has been able to um, give me some good insight. So I think those are the things that really do separate me as a coach, and having the mindset of like, I've never arrived. I'm always trying to get better. I'm always looking to see where can I steal 2 points at. Where could
Yep.
where could I sharpen my mindset at? I'm listening to podcasts like yours to learn more about the business side. How can I bring in more traction with ticket sales, and how can I increase our audience online? Those type of different things I'm always looking at. I'm always trying to improve, always trying to get better.
I just watched a movie called F1, and they were talking about what they're fighting for. And they're fighting for a tenth of a second from the car and a tenth of a second from the driver. The total of the differential is 3/10 of a second. But everything they're doing is to fight for that little differential. And it's so interesting as you're talking about that, because that's very much what this is. Like you said, how can I steal 2 points here or there? How can we bunt the runner over and steal a run? Like, how can we take what we have and get the most out of it that we possibly can is such an important part of this. And I got to ask, is that where do you think it is that your passion for this comes from?
I think my passion comes from helping others. I
Mm.
believe that everybody needs some assistance, and I think at some point we all go through things where we hit that wall where we can either look at it and say, it just wasn't for me, or I just had a bad day, I had a bad hand dealt to me, or we can switch that and we can change our perspective, which we talk a lot about with our team. Changing your perspective and focus on what you can control. Understanding that things happen to everybody. It rains
Yep.
on everybody. But do you have an umbrella? Are you prepared for the rain? Can you still function while it's raining? Those type of things I feel like are major things that you have to learn how to focus on. And I think that's where my true passion comes from, is just helping others to be more equipped. And not just with basketball. I think basketball is just a tool that I've been able to use to influence others, but I do believe that the life skills are the things that really separate me as a coach, and helping our student athletes to understand everything that you're learning now on the basketball court directly correlates to life and business. So it's just like for us, playing offense and defense, it's just like in business. If you're investing and you're saving, you're giving yourself a chance to play offense. But like if you just spending everything and you're not even calculating your budget, you're not even looking at your daily operations, like you're not playing any defense. So
Hmm.
those are the type of things that I feel like that's where my passion comes from, is just the impact, to be able to have a positive impact on others.
So we have to go from the good stuff to the bad. It's always about talking about the stuff that other people don't like to talk about. In what you do, there's always disappointments. There's unmet expectations. There's the player that you thought would be, the heart and soul of your team, and they go down with an injury, or they don't wind up manifesting being what they thought, or you have this great opportunity. It's between you and one other group, and you're the odd one out. How do you deal with that? How do you manage unmet expectations for yourself? I know that we have to put a brave face on for the team, but part of that stems from us dealing with ourselves well to stay in the fight. What do you do to take and stay there?
You know, um, I think it's good that you actually do want to talk about the dirty, grimy stuff, because I think that that's something that we overlook a lot, especially as coaches. We want to talk about the wins, championships, like those type of things. But when I shared this earlier, but when I stepped away from coaching and then I came back at the University of Cincinnati, great university, great coaching staff. And after that season, we all got let go. The entire
Mm.
coaching staff got let go. And I had just moved my family from Greensboro, North Carolina to Cincinnati, Ohio, had a baby girl, my wife, and it was all peaches and cream. I mean, we was all eating ice cream when we signed that contract. But then,
Yep.
as that reality set in, like I said before, I feel like that gives me the opportunity to show that I'm not just talking about it, I'm being about it. Like I get
Yeah.
to kick into action now. I get to reset. I get to control what the next move is. And I think that adversity is going to happen. I don't think that it's something that we can try to run from or hide from. I actually now I'm to the point where I'm inviting the adversity. Like I want the issues. I want the smoke. Send me the smoke. Because if I
Bring
can
it
get
on.
to the smoke, that's the quicker I can adapt. I can make the proper adjustments. And I don't believe that anything happens for no reason. Everything that happens to us is for a reason.
Hmm.
And being able to be let go taught me how to actually change my perspective. I can't focus on what I don't have anymore. I can't be like, oh well, I don't know why we got let go. And if I would spend my time and my energy in that phase, I'm taking away from my future. So being able to recognize that first off, and then being able to pivot second off, is what I always teach my athletes. And that's what I personally do. I have a reset that I always do. Anytime I hit any type of adversity, it could just be throughout the day. It could be a life changing thing, but I take some time and I snap my fingers. That's the sound that gives my mind the adjustment. And I say the words reset. And then I take 3 deep breaths and I use my affirmations and my Bible scriptures to get myself going again. And that's a technique that I use with my players, but it starts with me. And that's
Yep.
how I get through adversity.
All right. Makes sense. That's a great system to use. Um, I'm always trying to take and find practical tools for the folks that are listening. to help them with this? And I know you have one because I know you've written a book talking about a lot of what we've talked about today. So tell us a little bit about your book. And if you can, give us a sneak peek of what's in there.
Man, listen, coaching the winner within. These 7 skill sets that I talk about in this book are all personal development based. These are all leadership skills, everything that we have inside of us. I'm just bringing them back out and sharpening them for the reader. Um, I think that the major thing that somebody that could take away from this interview would be, first off, understanding yourself, understanding what motivates you, understanding what you want. I think the questions that you've asked so far have been really mind blowing, to sit there and think about, oh, what gives you the passion to do what you do? I think that those type of things are things that we should always think about. When it comes to the book, and I spoke about this earlier, but a lot of times we're just focused on doing one thing in life. We're focused on playing offense. We're focused on trying to score the good things, but what about the defensive side? Protecting your
Sure.
energy, protecting the things that you have inside of you. And that's what these 7 skill sets are doing, teaching you and walking you through how to play offense and defense. I walk you through a whole personal morning routine. High achievers, we all have morning routines. I know you got one. So we all have morning routines, but to somebody that's never heard of a morning routine or wants to start with getting better, I think that's a great place to start. And I break it all down in my book. That's in the chapter, Building Personal Momentum. Because in sports, a lot of times we may win games. We're not even that talented, or we're not better than the other team, but we got the momentum at the right time. Things started
Yep.
clicking and we started going a little bit faster than we normally go. And that's how you win games. So the personal momentum is in your personal life as well.
It's huge. It's huge. Setting your day up right to have a day that's got momentum and is successful. Big fan of that.
On
Well,
purpose, with purpose. That's what I always say about the morning routine. You get to set it up on purpose, and now you're walking in purpose throughout the day. It's a life changing activity.
absolutely. What would you say is the most important thing you've learned in the process of doing all that you've done?
I think the most important thing I've learned is to always be adjusting and adapting. I've seen coaches that have gotten let go. I've been on staffs where we got let go. And I think that it's all about you being able to meet the athlete where they are. And if you're in business, that means you're meeting the customer where they are. And what that really means to me is, you know, if I'm coaching a JV team, I'm not going to start out with between the legs, behind the back, and finishing at the basket. I'm going to start off with the fundamentals, the
Yep.
basics, and then I'm going to build up. Even if I'm coaching professionals, I'm sharpening the fundamentals. And that's what the book is doing. It's sharpening your personal development fundamentals throughout the day. So I think that really being able to have those fundamentals is something that helps me, and I think it all comes from the leadership aspect. If I could narrow it down to one thing, I would say leadership. I think that that's the one thing for myself. And when I say leadership, I'm really pertaining to personal development, always looking at ways where I can get better, where I could be a better influence. And looking in the mirror, and you said it earlier. I mean, you was like, give us something that you use. And I think that that's very important. As leaders, we could get caught up in speaking to others or trying to bring people with us. But really, if I don't go first, I'm not really a leader.
Yeah.
So I'm focused on going first every single time.
Good stuff. Got to lead the way, set the example, even for yourself. What would you say? This little segment here. I like to get to know you personally a little better. Introduce you to our listeners a little bit, so they get a sense of who you are behind the philosophies, if you will. What would you say you're most proud of in business, in your work that you've accomplished?
Oh, I would say being able to help so many other coaches. Um,
Hmm.
I think that when I started, it was very difficult to get people to kind of like just mentor you and walk with you. Now it's more of a thing, but I've been able to help so many other coaches. I've spoke to other teams, helped other organizations. From a business standpoint, adding that value. I think that that's something that I've been able to do everywhere that I've been, is just add value, having a positive impact, which is something that I don't ever want to overlook, because when it comes down to it, it's all about, did you help somebody get better or did they get worse? Or the
Yep.
program. Did the program get better or did it get worse? When we first got to this university or institution, they had 8 players. They hadn't played a full season prior to the year we got here. So being able to look up now, and we have 17 players on the roster, we've played 2 complete seasons, went to conference tournaments. Like, I feel like those are major things just because we're helping other people. So I think that that's probably the most proud thing that I have in this business, is being able to look back and see how many coaches that I helped become coaches throughout the process. And now I look up and I have several that are now head coaches at other universities and institutions that I mentor personally. So I'm excited about that.
That's great stuff, man. Paying it forward and making a difference going forward is always such a good thing. Similar question, but a little bit more personal. What are you most proud of in life? Outside of coaching, outside of business, what are you most proud of in life that you've accomplished?
Being a husband and a father. I mean, those are two major accomplishments that I'm still working towards now. I mean, you got another baby on the way. So, just
All right.
number
There you
two is
go.
coming. Number two is coming. So those two things are precious to me. We just recently paid off our last car payment, so we're 100% debt free. So
Congratulations.
working through that with my wife, and I mean, it was a long road though. Over $280,000 worth of debt that we paid off in less than 3.5 years. So I'm excited about
Congratulations,
that.
man.
Excited about that. That's a huge accomplishment and milestone for us.
Yeah, no, man, that is a lot, and congratulations on that. Getting out from that bad debt burden of depreciating assets is such an important part of getting ahead in the system. The system rewards debt, but only the right kind of debt. So, having that good debt is a thing. If you could give one piece of advice to our listeners, people that you may never talk to or speak to, or get a chance to influence again, uh, what would it be?
My one piece of advice for anybody listening to this would be, don't be afraid to start small. I think sometimes when we have visions in our head, or we can see ourselves scaling that business or getting that next opportunity, it starts to get overwhelming and we start to underperform. So whenever you start to overthink, you usually start to underperform. So I would say
Mm,
making sure that you take that small step, right? I call it small wins. Go get the
yeah,
small wins, get the small things, because over time you will get compounded interest in your life. And then that becomes that personal momentum that takes you right into that dream that you had. So you got to start working, got to start grinding, got to get up and get after it.
I am an investor in my soul, so when I hear compounded growth, it makes me very happy on the inside. No, I'm a believer, man. I'm a believer. Uh, so here's a tough question for a lot of people to answer. What is the one book that you would sit there and say to people, you gotta, besides your book, what's your book title again? Give me your book title one more time.
Coaching the winner within.
Coaching the Winner Within, guys. Gotta get it. So besides your book, what is the one book you'd say, hey, look, guys, you gotta read this book. This book is a game changer.
Great question. I'm an avid reader, so I'm always reading something, but I got to go back to the first self-help book that I ever read. I was a video coordinator at the University of Louisville, and I was trying to figure out where I fit in with this staff. These were Hall of Fame coaches, very good coaches. And I was kind of just now getting my feet wet, and I didn't have the confidence in myself. And one of the executive operations person said, "Hey, have you ever thought about reading?" To be honest, I laughed. I was like, "What? Reading? Like, I read enough. I have a master's degree. Like, why would I want to keep reading?" And she was like, "No, reading is the way to exercise your mind. So continuing to exercise your mind is going to help you." I was like, "Oh, okay." She said, "I'm going to give you a book." And she gifted me Seven Habits of Highly Effective
Highly
People
effective
by
people.
Stephen
Yep.
Covey. And I
Yep.
read that book in less than a week, and that literally started me on my journey in personal development and changed my life. So that's the one book that I recommend to everybody.
Great
Seven
book.
Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey.
Read it as a kid. Good book. Um, all right. Similar question. A little bit different. Favorite movie of all time?
Okay, now this is gonna be more. When I watch movies, I like to be entertained, right? So this is not
That's
gonna
fine.
be. This is more
Doesn't have
fun.
to. You're not on stage. It's okay. Whatever's real.
This is more fun. So I would say Life with Eddie Murphy. This movie was it was Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence, and they teamed up and they got sentenced to life in jail. And the movie just goes throughout the time that they were in jail. And I mean, I just laughed the entire movie. And it's an old school movie, but man, every time I watch it, I still laugh.
Nothing wrong with that, man. It's good to laugh. It's an important part of life. Um, all right, famous person in history you'd want to meet if you could.
Famous person in history. I mean, it's a lot of people. If I had to pick one though, if I had to pick one, I would definitely say Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
All
Uh,
right.
and then I gotta go with because I mean I grew up in Louisville, Kentucky, so Muhammad Ali is definitely one of my favorites of all time. With the Louisville lip, that's what they used to call him because he used to talk so much trash. I
Oh
gotta
yeah.
learn. I gotta learn from Ali how to talk that trash. But
There were some even less flattering versions of that. Yeah.
yeah, so I would say those two.
All right. What person from your past, similar question, but what person from your past would you want to sit down with and have lunch today if you could?
Jeff Walls. Jeff Walls is the head coach at the University of Louisville right now. One of my coaching mentors, and anytime we get together, it's always a good time. So I would love to sit down and chop it up with him.
All right. One piece of advice you'd go back and give a younger version of you.
A younger version of me. Okay, so I'm gonna talk to that young coach that ran into
You
that
got it.
that adversity.
What did Devrinn need to hear when he was a little guy?
Yeah, for sure. It's not about you. That's
There we go. We tend to think that everything is about us. We're very selfish when we're young, and it takes us a while to get that crap knocked out of our cranium.
when I was writing the book and I was with the book company, they wanted to add a chapter in, and they named it because I have the seven skill sets. So I was like, okay, I did the seven, like we're done. They were like, no, we want more. We want the readers to have more. We want to do something. They wanted to do a chapter where I gave three lessons that I wish I had learned earlier in my
Mm,
career, and that's one of them that I put in the book and I break down is. I thought I knew everything, man. Like I just thought I knew everything. And then even when people would come with different perspectives and different ideas, I would be like, well, why is this person talking? And it's you don't realize you don't know everything. So just be quiet, man. Just be quiet and learn.
shut up. It's so simple, but so hard to clearly get in our own thick skull when we're young.
Yeah.
Um, Sadly, we don't know what we don't know, and it takes us a while to figure that out. But all right, if you had to pick, if you had to be stuck in a foxhole taking fire, who would you pick to have in that foxhole with you? Who's got your back?
Oh, my wife.
Good, safe answer for your physical well-being and character. Nicely done. Uh, that is a good, safe answer, and that makes me happy to hear. That's what you should be able to say and mean. And I can tell you mean it when you say it. So that's good stuff.
Oh, for sure. And she's my assistant coach as well. So it's kind of it's embedded in us. So that's how we roll. But if I had to go out of the family structure and go get somebody, I would say my personal coach, Coach Kendall Ficklin. That's my guy right there. I mean, whenever I need anything or if anything's going on, that's who I call. So I would have to
Yeah.
say Coach K.
Safe, good stuff. Good to hear. What do you do to unwind?
You know what? I love to exercise. And, and I'm right now. I'm trying to teach my daughter how to write her name. So that's been taking up a lot of time, if you know what I mean. And then
Yep.
I love watching Netflix series and all type of different series. But I'm on BMF right now. That's my new thing that I've been watching. But I'm all about the Netflix series. Whatever I could get some time to unwind and just chill
Yep.
out. Hey, Netflix series is where it's at.
Yep. Well, as it turns out, the entrepreneurial bug, the bug to be doing something and always have something going, is never stopping. So I got to ask, what's next for you? What's the next project, the next thing you got rolling around in the back? Maybe you haven't even admitted it to yourself yet that you think that you might want to go to.
You know what? What I've really been thinking about lately is trying to. Well, first of all, we gotta win a championship here. So that's.
Goes without saying.
I mean, that's the obvious. That's the obvious project. But my next project, I actually want to do a coaching clinic, but not for basketball.
Hmm.
So I want to do a personal development coaching clinic, but with basketball coaches, but we're not talking about basketball.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So kind of taking it from some of the unique challenges that face that role, uh, based upon what you know, but how do we build you into better people, not how do we just build a better basketball team?
And
Good
helping them
stuff.
to understand like that will help you be a better coach. Because I think sometimes
Yeah.
as coaches, like we kind of overlook that. It's like, nah, man, I'm trying to win a game, and it's like, whoa, but have you worked on yourself? Have
Yeah. Are you winning life? Because if you're not winning life, there's going to be symptoms that manifest in other ways that keep you from winning games.
Yeah, but I
It's
don't think the coaches really think about that. I just think they keep doing what they've been doing and getting the same results and trying to figure out what am I not doing, and they go back to what they know, which is basketball.
Yep. All right, Devin. Last question I have for you, buddy. Where can people find you?
People can find me. I'm always on Instagram. So Devrinn Devrinn underscore Paul Paul. I'm always on Instagram. I do my own posting. I respond to people. Go live at least once a week on there. I'm also on YouTube, Devrinn Paul, and you can visit my website, Devrinn Devrinn.com. So type in
Yeah.
Devrinn. It's just me. It's just me for now.
There's not a lot of Devrins running around.
It's not.
You threw the curveball, right? Because thinking Devin, but then you added the second N, and like, no, that's not going to mess people up enough. Let's throw an R in there. Nobody will ever spell it right. I love it. It's a thing, buddy.
Yeah,
Well,
you
thank
got to
you.
take that up with my mother. You got to
No,
take that
I totally know it's not on you. I
take
mean,
that take that one up with my
you
mom.
realize she has damned you to a life of needing to spell your name for everyone. My last name's Cadillac. I'm like, all right, it's just like the car, double L. They're just not going to get it right otherwise. It's a thing. So yeah, no,
So
and
you
I
you
want
get it. You get it.
yeah, totally, totally. I mean, at some point, because people do that to me enough, like they have names that are hard to spell, but they get mad when you misspell it. I'm like, look, just if you know it's not easy, you got to have some empathy. I was thinking about just getting rid of the O in Joshua and making a nat symbol and make a J at schwa. Good luck spelling it, but that was a little bit more malicious.
Hey, you're taking me back because I used to stand whenever I went to school and we had a substitute teacher. I would literally like stand right next to him when they start calling out names because I'm like, listen, we're not gonna make this that hard, man. It's me right there, Devrinn Paul. It's me. I know it's two first names. They're gonna be like Paul Devrinn. Like I got it. I got it. Don't worry about it.
Yep,
I'll take it from here.
absolutely. If you've ever seen the video with the Aaron,
Yes. Yeah.
oh my God. That video is so funny. I
Hey, I
wish I could use
still.
it in more classes, but I know somebody's going to get offended at some point if I try to. So I just,
Hey,
I will
Aaron.
laugh at it. Yeah. Oh my. No, there were so many of them there that were so good.
That was Key and Peele or what? Who was
I
that?
can't remember who it was. All I can like, there's very few people I know that have not seen that video. It's just
Everybody's seen that.
yeah, we like all secretly know it's like not exactly politically correct, but we find it all like we're secretly willing to admit it's hilarious. And I think that's awesome. But anyway, Devrinn, it was really great getting to know you. Thank you for coming on and sharing your wisdom with us. I wish you great success with your book going forward. Thank you for being here.
Josh, thanks for having me, and thanks for doing what you do. I think that what you're doing is a great cause in the community, especially being able to help entrepreneurs and being an entrepreneur myself. I think that is something that, to be honest, I feel like every coach should be doing something on the side or something to promote their services or help other people in general.
Well, we're out there doing God's work in our own way, and it just looks different for each of us. So, we try to do the good thing, the good work that we have in front of us to do.
Love it.
And yep. Oh, I not only want to thank you, Deborah. I want to thank, as I always do, our listeners. Thank you for being here. Thank you for spending our time with us. And I got to remind you, as I do every time, there's never a good excuse not to know your shit. Till next time.